So continuing on with our bureaucratic chapter, we're getting into the hiring and structure of the bureaucracies. The history, the spoil system. You probably remember from U.S. history, Andrew Jackson came in and got rid of all of John Quincy Adams' people. That's the spoil system, and we used that for quite a while. Where with every new president, we would have a new set of bureaucrats. After President Garfield was assassinated because a man by the name of Charles Guiteau had felt like he deserved to be ambassador to France, and that Garfield had denied him this position, even though Guiteau said he had worked on the campaign and had earned this. And then they decided to go and shoot President Garfield. After that, they decided we need to make some changes to the system, and so the Pendleton Act was created, and that created the civil service exam, where now you can only be hired based on your skill set, and you have to be able to pass an exam. You're supposed to be promoted based on your skills and what you've done, not just because of who you know. Then we have the Hatch Act, which is something that's still relevant today. It says that bureaucrats are supposed to stay out of politics. Now, they can, on their own time, practice whatever political party they want to, but on the job, they're supposed to be keep it separate. For example, after the election in 2016, the FBI director Comey was brought in by Congress and questioned because, if you remember back to that time, he had come out in July and said, we're not going to investigate Hillary Clinton. Well, then about a week before the election, he comes out and says, we're going to reopen the investigation into her emails. And so they accused him of using his position to try and sway the politics. So he was accused of violating the Hatch Act. All right. And then the Civil Service Act of 1978 is going to create the hiring structure where the OPM is going to help you hire and find the best employees. The structure, this is the model, okay? Authority, sort of like our hierarchical structure for the presidential staff, is going to flow from top to bottom. Pretty simple. These people are supposed to be experts in their areas, so we hope that the people who are working in these agencies, we hope the IRS guy knows the tax code in and out. Extensive rules so that everybody's treated the same. Impersonality, if you ever talked to a bureaucrat, you might have noticed that they have a little bit of impersonality, so that everybody's the same. Okay, if you call and complain, well, this guy treated me this way, well, it's the same way they treat everybody. And then the merit principle, everybody's getting hired and fired and moved around based on what they do or don't do. Okay. Employment and bureaucracies. Who hires government workers? Well, the OPM, as referenced earlier, the Office of Personnel Management. They are out there recruiting and training employees. They are the ones who are supposed to streamline this service. It's also supposed to be away from the actual bureaucrats. Of course, they are bureaucracy themselves, but they will have nothing to do with the position of that they're hiring for. So they maybe hire people for the FBI or the IRS or the FCC or the SEC or whatever it is, and they're apart from it. Okay. The GS rating determines your pay and expertise, those sorts of things. Senior executive service, the highest ranked civil service employees, they're way up there, and these are the career bureaucrats. They've been in it for a long time, and are supposed to be responsive to the policies of the White House. Tenure, this is something that bureaucrats have. You don't get fired, and it's very difficult to fire a bureaucrat, and there's other positions out there that have tenure, but this is to keep from having to start over with every presidency. We don't want a president to come in like Jackson did and say, okay, you're all against me, so I'm going to fire everybody. So there are Democrats still working in the bureaucracy, even though Trump's president. And when we have our next Democrat president, there'll be Republicans who are still working there, even though they're from different parties, and they can't get fired, at least not easily. The Plum Book, this is just a book that lists all the jobs the president is going to have to fill, and there are tons of them that he has to fill when he takes office. He or she will get this upon election. and they can start thinking and looking for people to put into these positions. Presidents obviously are going to be looking for specific talents. Probably one of the big things is their policy views. Most presidents are not going to hire someone who is of a different political party or different political leanings than they are. They also want loyalty, people who are going to stick with them. Our current president has had trouble finding this. Okay, political skills and then executive talent. Okay. Ambassadorships usually go to large campaign contributors. I can't talk. I told you I want to be the ambassador to Fiji. Well, those jobs usually go to people who are giving lots of money to the campaigns. Frustrations of appointees. The president and most of his appointees are temporary. Okay, what does that mean? Well, the president could be out in 2 years. Okay, so he's been there for 4 years. He appointed all these people who come in, possibly make sweeping changes, and then they're gone. And so bureaucrats have to kind of go with the tide. They have to, see which way the wind's blowing and just adapt to whoever's in charge. And they don't like that too much sometimes. Going native, this is where you're more loyal to your department and maybe your department head instead of the president. And we probably have a lot of this going on in the bureaucracy right now, with people not being happy or liking Trump, especially with the government shutdown. So you know what, Trump's saying this, but I like my leadership over here much better than I like him. How laws are implemented, the process. Policy need. So we need something. So the school week is way too long, I think. We need to drop it down to a certain amount of days. Let's say a 3-day school week. Okay. Congress then creates a law, and now we have a 3-day school week. It goes to an agency to implement it. In this case, it would probably be the Department of Education. All right. And they would give directives to the state levels of education to implement this thing. Okay. And we're going to stop here for today. We'll finish that up, the rest of it up tomorrow night. So in class tomorrow, we will go over the agency list that I gave you on Monday, and we'll do something else. And then on Wednesday, we'll practice iron triangles. All right. Hope everyone has a good evening. Thanks. Bye-bye.